All right, applications video for the martial poetry series, the episodes 31 through 35. So, first one up is lazy tiger stretches his back. So as we saw in the video, this one's a kick. And the emphasis is on the back because it's adding power to the kick. So it's the idea of throwing power both equally into the kicking direction as well as the back direction, like you're actually stretching your back like a tiger. So obviously this is a sort of kick. You can apply it differently, but it's ultimately going to be a kick. So the idea here is you're going to throw a punch, right? This is my block, right? This can come over to strike. So I got this pulling, pushing action, and then I add the kick through it. I'm going to be nice and kick over here instead. Thank you. You're welcome. So here goes the throw a punch, right? Boom, right? And this all happens at once. And basically you wear him like a boot because your foot will go through him. Mortal Kombat style, all that good stuff. Yeah, lazy tiger stretches back. You could also use this as a throw. I'm not going to actually put him on the floor, but the idea here is then, right, you get to here, throw through here to get kind of throws like that. So that's another way you can look at it. Next we have drunkard offers wine. So first I'm going to do the literal application of it, and then I'll show you with the idea based on what we talked about in the video. So the drunkard offer wine, he goes and throws a punch. This is my drink, and then this is the offering. So it's important to note that my body doesn't stay in the same place here. As he punches, I'm both leaning away and leaning towards the side here. So I'm getting out of the way of his punch. So even if I miss, right, I'm still like essentially bobbing and weaving. I just have this block here as a security, right? So as he goes to punch, right, we get into this. And if you get close enough, you can throw this as like an armbar as well. So that's the literal application of the movement. But we talked about in the video itself about the idea of why all the punches in drunken boxing are arced because of the wrist positioning and how it uses its force to make the opponent drunk. Because as the poetry says, we're offering him wine. We're trying to make him drunk, theoretically. But what drunk means in the combat is not literally I'm giving him drink, because like if somebody's fighting you, they're not just going to stop and drink, right? They're going to try and kill you or something else. So as he attacks me, right? So as I attack, I'm attacking not into him, which would cause him to go away. I'm attacking and trying to chip off so I get him to turn. And you can see here, it exposes his arm and exposes his back to me. So as I come through, I can do all sorts of weird things, right? When he goes to attack, I go boom, right? And I can even kick out his leg at this point. But let's try some other ways. I could trip him up, like with the movement here. You can see the chipping up lifts him up. Not like lift him up, but uproots him. And then you can see the position he's in right now can resemble a drunk, right? But he doesn't do drunken boxing, so I know how to deal with him, right? These are the positions that the drunk is comfortable with, but not him, right? If I want to go downwards, so if he goes to punch and I throw down, this is very reminiscent of spitting wine from drunken boxing. But as he's here, now I can do all sorts of things. So let's go over those, right? So first is sideways, boom, right? And now to his back. And that's how you kind of just stumble into your applications. And then with the uppers, right? And then with the down, I just kind of end up in the same things anyway. Right? The idea here is, right, if I'm doing this, I've trained this so I have a sort of understanding of my body that I can be okay in positions like this. But he hasn't, right? So if I put him in positions where he's on his, like he's bent over like this, that's where I'm ultimately going to win because he's not familiar with it, so I can just control him like that. So it's basically, you want him to play your game, right? No matter what boxing style you do, you want them to play your game, not playing their game. So like if you do jiu-jitsu, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you want them to be on the ground, right? But if you don't do that, if you do Chinese boxing like drunken boxing, it doesn't really like to do ground stuff as much, so it might want to be upright, right? So upright striking, throwing, all sorts of stuff like that. So just play your right game. And this is Drunken Boxing's game. So next is play the PiPa from Yang style Taiji. So this is this movement here. So as he goes to throw a punch, right? So I'm just trying to get this, right? I can get this many different ways. So one can be from a punch, where I get him here, or I can throw a punch and he'll block it and then I get him here. Doesn't matter how you get there necessarily, but this is like the application. And as I discussed in the video, much like you're playing music, from here you can do any number of things, right? And not one of them is considered wrong in the terms of art, right? So I can send him up like that by locking out his arm and then positioning my center of gravity underneath him to lift him out, right? I can also turn this over into an armbar like that. I could also turn this over and shoot this towards him like I'm trying to stab him with his own shoulder, right? Or I could draw this back, right? Infinity possible applications, as they always say. So like we're actually strumming the lute, like we're actually strumming the PiPa, right? I might try different kinds of things, right? I might try to go up, but let's say that doesn't work, so I then go down, right? And then as he starts to adjust, I can throw him this way, right? It's the idea that you're always adjusting to the situation. Just like in music, you're not staying in one place, you're adjusting the music, you're adjusting the tones, you're adjusting the beats, right? It becomes like art. So the infinity applications is all up to you, right? Up to the situation. So think about it like art, martial art. Very good. Next we have Sparrow Hawk penetrates the branches from Xinyiliuhe. So this is the movement. And the idea here is, if he holds his arms out, these are the branches. I'm trying to weave in and out of them like a sparrow weaving through the trees. So as he goes to punch, right? So I block with one, and then I can sneak by and attack with the other. As he wants to come with the other hand, right? I can weave through. It's just the idea of sneaking something underneath. So he goes to punch. I'm not throwing this where he can see me. I'm hiding underneath his arm to strike underneath. At high speeds, he won't be able to see it very well. Because the idea here is he can see his arm. Like if you hold out your arm, right? You can see your arm. You can't see what's behind the arm, right? So you're hiding within that shadow. You're hiding in that space to attack. So as he punches, right? I sneak my way through. I could even sneak through with the same hand, right? And I can turn this into what's blocking with one. I can then change and then sneak through here. So that Sparrow Hawk penetrates the branches, weaving in and out. You can even come from underneath, right? Get him, just suddenly surprise him with a hand at his chin. Good stuff. Last one we have is Green Dragon Stretches Claws from Baguazhang. So this posture, right, is often what we do when we walk the circle. But it's not just a posture, it obviously has applications within the fighting as well. So very simply, it's a block and a strike. So if he goes to attack, right, this is the idea. Like I block and I strike. But this is not it. Because circle walking is critical to everything we do in Bagua. So it's not just I stand here and I do this, right? As he attacks me, I'm doing the circle, right? I'm going around him. And what this does is it creates a different angle for which you're attacking. Because this motion is a straight motion of the arm in relation to my body. It goes straight out from me. But it doesn't go straight out in relationship to him. Because if I stand here, it will go straight. But if I go over here as I'm going, as I start to straighten, right, it's traveling with me as I go. So it ends up going on an arc into his face. So it's just a small arc, just a small change. But it makes it very difficult for them to find out where it's going, especially at high speeds, right? Any small change in direction can really screw with the mind. So as he's about to punch, right, my attack comes, it starts to go straight, and as I start walking and turning, right, straight changes where it is with me, right? So if I'm walking the circle, this right now is straight for me. As I walk over here, this right now is straight for me. To get from there to there, from here to there, right, as I extend, when I finish, I'm now striking that way rather than that way which I initially striked. So it's creating an arc, not from the hands, but from the feet. So this goes straight, and this goes in a circle, which creates an arc in your attack. So that's the idea. It's very simple. It's just the foundation of what we all do in Baguazhang. Even if something appears straight, it's not. Everything is always in a circle, right? So boom, right? And if you're really fighting, this just continues, right? But this is just the application for here. So no matter what you're doing, whether you're weaving one way or another, right? I might start one way and then he might attack and I might go the other way, right? But you're always walking the circle. You're just changing where that circle is. So that's Green Dragon stretches his claws from Baguazhang. And that concludes this video. Thank you very much.